Okay, so next weekend is the Mini Truck Nationals in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, and I've been kind of wanting to go to that show for a while now, and we're going this year. So this is, I guess you consider this a mini truck. It's based off a Ford Ranger. I consider it a mini truck. So I need to make this thing presentable for that show. Now, of course, I am not entering the show. Because that's a big enough show where you have to submit like a Google form and get approved to be in the show. I don't have anything like that to bring to it. But like I said, I consider this a mini truck. This is my 1988 Bronco 2. So in this video, we're going to be making this thing look halfway presentable. The biggest thing, this thing's got a really bad issue right now. I'll show you that right now, actually. This is pretty bad. My floor mat is coming apart right there, and I can't be having that. That isn't the big issue, but I'm not kidding. I am going to fix that. That drives me insane. I like these floor mats. The old Ford Motorsport I picked up at a swap meet for $8 a pair. The biggest thing right now is this starter sounds like crap. It is just dragging like crazy whenever you start it. I got new starter bolts in here. That's another thing. I got to clean this thing out because this is my daily driver. It looks like I've been living in it. Did some research. And I went by the Advance Auto Parts. Picked up some what I think are the starter bolts. I think they were M10 by 1.5 by 40 millimeter. That's what everybody says they are online. So I'm going to replace starter bolts and we'll attempt to shim it. It'd be really good if I had a lift or something, that way I could get up in there. Yeah, I do, but this thing currently doesn't have a transmission. And I feel confident I can get it out with the tractor, but getting it back in by myself might be an issue. I would be afraid I have to go through all that junk. But hey, that might actually prompt us to get rid of some of that stuff. So that might be a good thing. I can't say anything about that because there's currently a slot machine sitting right here that I've done nothing with, that I bought like a month ago. Anyways, this grill right here, chrome's peeling off of it. The Ford emblem looks terrible. So if we go back here, I picked this up at a swap meet probably a year ago. I bought that from a guy at the local swap meet for $5. He pretty much gave it away, and it came with that Ford Thunderbird headlight bezel right there, which I didn't need, but he just wanted to get rid of some stuff. So another thing is that rubber strip up there. This is another, it just drives me insane on this truck. That rubber strip up there is a lot better shape. That's really the reason I'm wanting to replace it, because this one right here is ripped in the corner, and I've tried everything. The duct tape worked for a while, but you can see that's starting to not work. It could just kind of, after a while, just hangs out like that. I can't stand that. So yeah, I'm just going to be dolling this thing up to look good in the parking lot. This, I guess, not this weekend because it's currently this weekend, but next weekend. And I'm worried about these floor mats for some reason. I don't know. Now, perfect. Now this stuff always takes like 42 days to dry, so now I get to wait for that. And I guess my carpet's coming loose right here too. Okay, so I put it up on some wheel blocks here in the front. And that's just going to help me get to the starter a little bit easier. But right now I don't really want to get under there, so I'm going to mess with this grill. It doesn't feel like there's anything holding it in at the bottom. I think it's just these screws up here. There's one little screw on each corner behind these side marker lights. Other than that, it's pretty self-obvious. Self-obvious. I don't even know if that's a word. Ugh, that's ugly. I've taken grills off of plenty of square bodies, but never this thing. This is the stupidest looking car I've ever seen without a grill on it. It looks... Hold on, I gotta get the full effect. Acorn just fell out when I... That looks stupid. Oh, we got a tag right here. What does that say? No idea. That sucker is just stapled on there though. I respect that. Or is that a hog ring? One of the two. That looks ridiculous. Okay, so right here you can see this chrome's a whole lot in better shape. Went ahead and blew the dust buttings and stuff off of it. I don't even know what I just said. But this little rubber piece right here is hard as a rock. Actually, sitting out in the sun's helped it quite a bit already. Gee, it's already split right here at the end like my old one was. So I've got this leather conditioner that hopefully will soak into this rubber and soften it up a little bit. I'm just gonna be doing this every once in a while, trying to soften it up. Maybe it'll do something, I don't know. I don't really want to go straight to WD-40 because that eats rubber. But maybe rubbing a little bit of that on there too will soak in there just a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so like you saw, I did take the spotlights off, and these are the little brackets I had to make because where this bumper was at an angle, or it still is at an angle. I needed something like do up in that, because if not, they'd just be pointing towards the ground. I realized I cut these up and I never painted them, so they were pretty rusty. So I used this stuff. The paint guy near me got some of this stuff in. I don't know. He's probably had it for a while, but we just found out about it. It's like $5 a can. It's super nice. Anyways, when this truck was painted before me, they didn't tape it off very good. And this like little rubber seal right here, they oversprayed white, and that's always driven me insane. Why is the air compressor screaming like that? You probably can't hear it, but it's making like a high-pitched whine. So I'm just going to use some of this and touch it up, because you can see that like through the hood or through the grill, and I don't like it. So all of these clips are good on it, except for these. They're in the corner. And what those do is they attach right here to these little plastic brackets. So I'm just going to put this back on and hope those aren't too necessary, because I don't really have an option, I guess. So my dad just called me, so I put the rest of the screws on while I was on the phone with him. But I was showing you this, where this was moving a whole lot, because I thought it was this piece back here that was broke. Actually, the grill I took off, there is a screw right there, and there is a screw right there that I didn't know about. So I'm curious. Oh yeah, the holes are still there. They just didn't put screws in it. So that cut down the movement right here a heck of a lot. I still wonder if I'm going down the road if I'm going to hear that, but if I do, I'll put some like foam tape or something behind it. I'm sure if I go up and rattle the grill in one of our square bodies right now, it's going to do the same thing. I don't think this is going to soften anymore. I think that's what you get. This hood sits a little bit low anyways. I may adjust on these, that way it takes a little bit of stress out of this. Okay, so this actually doesn't like squash as much as I did. It kind of just like tucks up in there. Like it's the hood's not on it at all, so that's good. Looks a whole lot better. I went ahead and put the spotlights back on with the covers. Haven't ran the covers in a while. I forgot how cool they looked. I looked at this and was like, yeah, that's not that big of a difference. And then I looked at the old one, and it is. I mean, the Ford badge alone is like, that's blue. This is disgusting. You know, I'm sure that could clean up a little bit, but it's hard to clean up peeling chrome. And this one's going to catch up with it at some point, but it's got a little bit. The frame on this truck will probably be broken half before I have to worry about that again. So, all right, as much as I don't want to, it is currently time to mess with this starter. At one time I was up in here. Oh, that's about to drip right on me, so I'm gonna move. At one time I came up in here and this was super loose, to the point where it was physically moving. So I tightened it. And I was thinking maybe it had loosened again, but it is not. I'm not at all sure what you guys can see right now, but it looks like it's looking at the starter. And this is a 3/4. And the other one's a 15, so someone's been in here monkeying around with it. That moves quite a bit with that one bolt out of there, which I wouldn't have thought of. Okay, so this top bolt is loose. So what I'm going to do is, since I don't have this big boy right here, I'm going to put him back. Because I don't plan on taking the whole starter out. I could, but it's heavy and I don't really want to. I kind of want to see what the gears look like. Why does this have to thread into here before it goes into where it should be threading into? That makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you can't see what I'm saying, but you see what I'm saying. Okay, so I wasn't recording, but I just discovered something. That wasn't even in the hole. Well, it wasn't a hole. It wasn't threaded in there. And you can see it hasn't been... Is that crud? You can see it's been loose for a while because look at all the junk around the threads. That hasn't been in that hole in... I don't know. So I've had one bolt holding in the starter. Oh, crap. Okay, so I didn't disconnect the battery. And I need to do that because I'm going to start monkeying around with wires. I don't want to engage it and then chew something up, so I need to go do that real quick. Yeah, there's a little bit of wear on that, but it's not too bad. Look cool, the wire's long enough to just let it hang right there. I'm using you as a view because I can't see nothing down here. What does that look like? Does that look good? It looks good from here. Maybe. What does it look like? I'm gonna go back and watch this video clip. Okay, so I've actually found a couple issues. Number one, the bolt I took out up here, quite a bit shorter than what I have. So this up here is the 10 mil, or it's an M10 by 1.5 by 40. That is what this hole is. Now down here, well, first of all, that means up there that bolt is too short, which means it was never doing anything. Now down here, there's two issues. Number one, I think somebody stripped out this hole or something and enlarged it because this is massive. And I don't know, maybe it's right, maybe it's not, but I don't know why this should have two different starter holes or starter bolt sizes. So that's one thing I noticed. Number two is this is the hole for the big boy bolt right there. It is tapped as well, which means that bolt right there has to thread through this and then into the block, which means if you don't have it perfect, this can't tighten down. So once it tightens down against this, you know, it still could very well be loose. So I don't know why that's the case. I need to think about what to do there. I kind of want to enlarge that hole, that way that bolt can go through there cleanly. I don't know yet, but I don't think that's right. Okay, so I didn't really do anything to the starter. Like I mentioned, I might. So up here, I put the 40mm long bolt in. You can tell just by the way it was going in that those threads had so much gunk and stuff in it that there wasn't something threaded in there for a while. And down here, I got that tied up top. And down here, I went ahead and just put this back how it was. Kind of just hoping that it tightened down. We're going to see that here in a second because I got to go wash my hands and then we can fire this thing up and see how it sounds. Because before, it sounded terrible, not going to lie. It was kind of embarrassing to fire this thing up, you know, because people would look at you funny. I'm going to set you up right here because I know for a fact that this thing was deafening about this close. There's so much fire. That is so much better. I've never heard it that quiet. I don't think it was that quiet then, but when I first got this thing, like the video of us going and picking this up, because I've recorded everything on this truck. If you're interested, anything and everything I've done to this is on his channel. That's just a quick plug, by the way. Hey, I've never noticed I don't have an overflow tank. Huh. It's probably supposed to go about right there. I noticed that in the video of us firing this up to get on the trailer, the starter sounded amazing on it. And I noticed shortly after that it didn't sound amazing. But even then, I think this is quieter than it was now. That's impressive. Turns out, when you only have one bolt in your starter, that'll cause it to have issues. I may have just tripled the life of that starter too. I think this video has just turned into another one of those videos where I just fix stuff that annoys me on this truck. I ordered these a while ago, and even a lot longer ago, I ordered a set that was supposed to be for this truck. These are door tumblers, by the way, door locks. That was supposed to be for this truck, and they wasn't, but I was able to modify it to get it to work because I was taking it to the beach like the next day, and I wanted to be able to lock the door. So right now the only door that locks is this side, and I kind of rigged it to do it. So it doesn't work well. It's kind of finicky. Like, see, I can't lock it at all like that. It's actually working a lot better now that I'm trying to show you. Anyways, this is a GM key too. They sent me the wrong set, but I didn't bother to, well, I didn't have time to do it the right way. So I've got these, and they're actual Ford keys. Well, not actual Ford keys, but they've got an oval on them. And it says 4 Ford cars. And that, oh, okay. Scratch the paint, watch it. So we are going to put these in, that way I can unlock both sides without having to crawl. Oh, I just had an idea too. I bet the one that's in my door now, I could modify it to lock the rear hatch. So we may try that too. And if I forget that, just ignore I said that. I want to be able to lock these things. These are super easy to do because you only have to take the door panel off. You just, I'll show you obviously, but you just pull that out and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try to do this one-handed because the tripod's downstairs. I'm too lazy to go get it. Pretty much you just pull this out. And this is literally the only thing holding your door tumbler in. There we go. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, this just comes out. This is the part where I had to modify it. Obviously, that's just a piece of brazing rod that I guess I just drilled a hole in there and made it work, you know. It works. Now this you kind of got to be careful with because that is plastic. And if you drop this inside of the door, then you have to take the door panel off. Okay, so anyways, ignore when I said you don't have to take the door panel off. You do. What made me realize that is I was messing around with this and I took my knob off and it fell off in here. Then I slowly remembered doing this the first time and this door panel did have to come off. So it's not the end of the world, I guess. It's going to make it a little bit easier to get in there and do it. And don't forget to put this little grommet on before you attach that thing in there. But I looked through this hole right here and I was able to side it, get that clip on the rod. And I haven't tested it yet, but I trust it. So I'm going to put this back in there. So I looked in there with a flashlight just to make sure this was lined up before I get rough with it, and it is. Grease on that. There we go. Yeah, feels like it's doing something. I need to find out where my rod went in here. Is that it? Oh, okay. That's it right there. That's locked. That's unlocked. So it's backwards from how it was before, but I don't remember how it should be. So that may be right. I don't know. So I'm gonna put this door panel back on now. Okay, so I've done both sides, and works pretty good. Let's go to the other side. There's an issue with this side now that I'm choosing to ignore, and then I hope it resolves itself. Well, come on. This one's kind of finicky. There we go. There you go. Yeah, this was just like a cheap lock set off Amazon I got for like 15 bucks. So if the passenger side's finicky, I'm fine with that because I don't sit on this side. Let's see if it fixed itself. Nope. Yeah, so every once in a while this would just stop working recently, and usually it would come back, but it has yet to come back this time, and I just put the door panel back on. So there we go. Okay, now we know the solution. That wasn't even a bit I just did right there. That just worked like that. So we either got a loose connection in there somewhere, which is probable, or the starter motor's going out. Not starter motor. Windshield washer? Window motor, that's it. That's going out because it's around this area right here too, and you just saw how slow that was. So don't roll that window down is what I'm trying to tell you. So these little deer whistles right here were on the grill I just took off a while ago. I don't know. I don't think these do anything. I think when a deer sees a 4,000-pound car coming at him, a little whistle is not going to do anything. But I'm just saying, I haven't hit a deer with this thing with these on here. And I'm going to jinx myself. That's funny enough. That's what I was saving this grill right here for. Is for when I smacked a deer inevitably. I would have a better grill, or that's the better grill, to replace it with. But, you know. Anyways, do these do anything? Probably not. But they were on the truck when I got it. And I don't know. Just little stuff like this I find interesting, I guess. Because the dude who owned this before me probably put these on 20 years ago. So, you know, I might as well put them back. So I've got this one right here drying. I went and sprayed it with a flat black because they were looking kind of grayish, you know. Also, they actually do stuff. I would have never thought. I thought these were just for looks. I didn't actually consider that they were just a whistle. Yes, I'm hot gluing this on there. I had some 3M tape, but I don't know if it's went bad or what, but it ain't got no sticky on it anymore, and this is the next best thing that I have. Okay, so it's about a week later in this video. On the way back up to my college last week, I guess on Monday, there's this big old mountain you have to go up, and I downshifted into fourth like I always do, because, you know, this thing is so powerful that it goes up the mountain at about 35 miles an hour in a 55. Literally tractor and trailers are passing you. But anyways, I noticed it had an awful, not even an awful noise, it just had a new noise. What it sounded like is like your throttle body up there, you know, makes a wah noise. Yeah, and that's normal. That's just it sucking in air and making all 40 horsepower that it makes. But this time it sounded a whole lot louder than usual. I spent the week looking at it, you know, going through the intake system up there, thinking it was something with that. I did diagnose that it was something going on with the exhaust. I'll insert a video clip here. Yeah, so it sounds normal until that like high-pitched noise that you hear, kind of like a whistle noise almost. So I ain't got a clue what that is. A little bit of research told me that, you know, one of my cats could be clogged, but I don't think that's the case because this thing really isn't that down on horsepower. It feels pretty normal to me. It just has a weird noise. So we're gonna try to tackle that by putting on a new muffler because I'm not sure what else to do. Oh, and by the way, I leave in the morning for that truck show, the mini truck show that I was talking about. So I really need to figure out if this is going to fix it. That's going to be great. But if it's not, I need to get that truck ready to go because I need something to drive, obviously. You know, I've got other vehicles, but I need something cool to drive. I know that thing needs brake pads, and I haven't really looked over it since last October at the last truck show. So if this doesn't fix it, we need to get on that truck pronto. So if you can see right there, the exhaust on this has been modified. I think all they did is they just lopped this off right here and turned a downpipe because this is supposed to go over the axle and dump out the side of the truck. I actually don't mind that they did that because I don't know, I've got a weird thing where I don't like how like really any exhaust exit on a truck. You know, I think them coming out the side just looks terrible. I think them coming out the back looks terrible. There was a short amount of time that I had a side dump exhaust on my brown truck, but I don't know, I didn't really like that very long. And I just realized that the inlet on this is straight in the middle, and this is on the side. Now, I think you all know what I'm going to have to do here. Of course, it's still got two cats on it, but I got to fire it up and just see what it sounds like. Wow. That sounds terrible. That's it. I don't know, it's kind of got some chop to it, actually. Yeah, no, it sounds like a little dinky V6. I gotta give it a few though. I made this little slip joint thing out of just an extra piece of pipe I had laying around. Went ahead and put the muffler on here. Again, nothing's clamped. This is just for testing purposes to see if that noise does go away. I'm not gonna run it too long just in case it doesn't. So maybe I can still halfway return that muffler. I don't know. That did take care of it. Obviously before, of course I'm revving it about the 3 to 4 grand when it's ice cold, which is fantastic for these little engines. Anyways, yeah, around 2.5 to 3 to 4 grand. I don't really push it past that because you're there's no point. You're not gaining anything. Again, it would have this awful whooshing noise. And that appears to be gone. I thought it might be this muffler simply because when you smack on it, it sounds like there's a baffle loose in there. And I guess there is. So I'm just glad that that took care of it, but I'm a little bit worried. Oh, see, it fell down. A little bit worried. How hot is this? Oh, it's not. Just how close this is to my drive shaft. It may be fine. I guess if your drive shaft is moving that much left or right, then you've got bigger issues. But this one right here had a thing in the middle, and I may try to find one with one in the middle. I don't know yet. Either way, I gotta go get some clamps because I did forget those. So I'll try to look for. Oh. Either way, I'll try to look for one with a inlet in the middle. Okay, so I messed around with doing some pie cuts in a piece of pipe, and that didn't really work out. So I finally decided to go around the building into the scrap pile, where we keep a lot of old exhausts, and I found a piece that had a bend in it. It just so happened to fit perfectly inside of this muffler. So the setup right now is there's a little slip joint right there. That's going to take 2 clamps, then the muffler, and then this little turn down. And the hanger's actually going to work out pretty good. This is just a piece of old hanger that I actually found with this piece of metal. You see it goes in right there, and I've got it to where hopefully I'm going to weld that sucker on there, and it's just going to hold it up like that. So I think it's actually going to be a little bit lower than the old exhaust, but it's not going to be the lowest point of the vehicle. For some reason, this frame has like these little bits right here, so that's going to be lower. Skid plate's going to be lower. I think it's going to be fine. I know a mailbox probably looks kind of redneck, but it really is the perfect height when you're sitting on a little stool like this. So, and it's our old mailbox. It's not like we need it. And there we go. It's kind of putting in a little bit of a bind at an angle, but I think that's just going to make it pull it that way more, which is what I want. I got it marked right here because I think I said earlier I was going to use a clamp on this. I am going to go ahead and weld it. I might as well. And yeah, then I can clamp it there and this project will be done. Well, if that ain't the simplest, I don't know what is. That was super easy. That should be good. That's pretty quiet. Yeah, that definitely fixed her issue. I'm glad of that. Pretty happy with actually how this looks too. I know it looks how it looks before, but you know, I'm happy with it. I'm not too thrilled with how close it is to my drive shaft, but I think it's going to be fun. There's the closest area, and if I have to, I can loosen those up and twist it down. Actually, it twisted like upwards more than I thought it would, so I may do that anyways. I don't know. I'll see if anything is an issue before I do that.